Welcome to the Power Podcast. This is the Heroism and Courage series. I shall be your host, Joy Mala.
And I'm your co-host, Gloria Machete. So, Joy, what is Power? And they ask, what is it about? Your power ni abbreviation, ama alafu, they also spell it as PO, like the English version. So, tuambie like a little bit about that, inspiration ya jina na what we do.
Okay, so you can go to our website. Anyway, Power 254 is a non-profit that was established in the year 2009. It is Kenya's unique art and cultural collaborative hub that houses, fosters, catalyzes creative and community-driven projects for social change. The acronym POWER is a Swahili corruption of the word power. Power. And 254 ni prefix ya the Kenyan code. Yeah. So Power 254. That's how it came about.
So tuambie projects zenye Pawa will do, like the different like sides. Najua kuna sema kweli, kuna hii team courage yenye inafanya heroism and courage. So expound kidogo hapo.
Yeah, so Power ideally has several arms. So we have Semokweli. Semokweli has been managing the citizen journalism arm of Power. So anything media goes under Semokweli. And then we also have Team Courage, that is like the governance arm of Power 254. So as we say that we try to have projects that work towards social change. So amongst them is this Heroism and Courage. And then in the past, there was Mavulcha. There's a time that I know guys can recall stories about Kupeleka Pigs, Parliament, story na M-Pigs.
Was it also you guys who like burnt up the coffins?
Yeah. That was still under Team Courage. So anything protests and like aimed towards reshaping governance in that sense falls under Team Courage. And then we also have an artivism arm, artivism. That is art driven for
art for activism.
Yes, art for activism. That's the word. So in activism, we have a lot of, we engage with so many artists who try and shape their art towards social change as well. So utapata kuna literally Thursdays for writers and anyone in literature in that entire segment. Alafu kuna music. We used to have like rap Fridays, just acoustic Fridays, and then poetry, spoken word. So like all segments of art have been encompassed in this activism thing. Kuna graffiti. So it goes in and on. But yeah, basically that's Power now is our home. Hizo vitu zote, that mix mesh of everything falls all under Power.
Umemention sema kweli, and I think ni important kusema hiyo citizen journalism, it's for social justice. As in the stories you do, okay.
Yeah, it is. Because when we began, people like to say that kuna watu wako voiceless. But ideally, they're not voiceless, only that they're not given the platforms to air their stories. So like what you find we used to do with Sema Ukweli, well, we are working on revamping it and putting it back on the map to where it used to be. But Sema Ukweli, citizens would actually come up with stories, and there used to be a lot of messages flooding on Boniface Mwange's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wapi zimejaa kwa inbox. But here come to moja hangeweza saidia wase wote na hata tu go through messages because at some point we took over his social media management. Na it was a lot of work. Una find over 100 messages Facebook. Ukijibu mtu anataka kurespond, anataka kutuma pictures WhatsApp and stuff like that. But him alone, he couldn't have helped all those people. So he decided to gear it towards a platform that actually just airs out these stories. Because one thing you also find, reason nilikuwa nasema they're not voiceless, ni juu media houses also won't pick up just any story.
Yeah, it's true.
There has to be some interest tied to that. Na saa kukiwa hivo, there's a lot of stories that just won't ever see the light of day or justice. So we decided to now focus on these stories. We give them a platform using Sema Ukweli kuzi-air out hapo, and then we actually did something that most media houses don't do. We follow up. If it's a lawyer that mtu ana need, we link them up with a lawyer. And
Pro
if
bono,
it's
ama do they have to pay?
pro bono. So as the movement kept growing, there's a time that we did a call out seeking for volunteers in various fields. And at this time, we had lawyers coming in, we had researchers, students, several people just came in wanting to help. Only that the structure wasn't that formal. So hata njia za kuaccommodate wote, we are still working on it. But it's something that's ongoing. And so far, the lawyers that have come through for us have actually helped us see a number of success stories. Alafu hata tu hii kushare out kwa media. Because I remember there's this one story that was super, hey, it hurt me. This lady alikuwa na work NTV, Daily Nation. It's called Nation Media Group. Yeah, Nation Media Group. And then she hadn't been paid. And then she was now becoming suicidal. She had kids. And then it was like on a Sunday, the lady was texting me in the morning, jioni, ananiambia, now me, I'm about to commit suicide. So by the time I'm seeing her call, I'm trying to call her, she's mteja, I'm flipping. I'm calling Boni, I'm calling the other team members, which I should have mentioned. We were working alongside a team of 6 others.
Yeah.
So we are trying to reach people, but eventually after sharing her story and that her salaries came through, which was like, it was a backlog of a huge amount. Yeah.
She had been laid off?
No. She had resigned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she had resigned. Alafu, she was to be paid her dues, but then it took so long. So by the time wanaenda kumlipa, it was over 500k. And then the lady alikuwa anasema hajalipa rent, vitu kaa hizo. But then you see her story getting told, na yeye kuweza access justice in the sense that she got paid. It also empowered her to want to be a part of the movement. So Sema Ukweli imekuwa pia ikigana supporters in that sense, that people want to help change other people's lives because their lives also got changed. That is just one among the many success stories that we were able to see through.
And I think Pawa is such a cool space, as in, even if I'm affiliated with it, like, I see all the different projects you guys do with artists from, Mkuru, Kayole, and they come in. You get to interact with so many different people. You guys call in experts, Kinabiko Zulu, like people in different fields. And then you have these conversations that are so inspiring and they drive so much change. And I think it's important to have such spaces, especially because you center art. And of course, we know that art haikuangi kitu imepewa ati such a high pedestal, inakwanga tu like
Kenya.
So I think ni important kukuwa na hizo spaces. So about, I think tunazongela sasa this exhibition we used to do before COVID-19 and the new normal.
Yeah, so project dubbed Heroism and Courage began in the year 2018. So the whole idea around it was to invoke a sense of civic consciousness, civic responsiveness amongst young people. So the metric that we use to like kuangalia which young people, because you work, all these projects that you mentioned, Niza youth, Niza young people. But then we saw that young people in universities wanakuanga tena sheltered some more. Like you go through primary, high school, and then after high school you're 18, you're expected to go to the world and be an adult and participate, whatever. But then ukiingia tena campus, you're still under your parents' care, you're still under the school's care. So if you want to speak of anything as someone in school, it's either kuea wanasema hivi nini, like the individuality of young people at that age, 18 to what umeza campus at
24.
Yeah, to around 23, 24.
Yeah.
They're adults, but they're not given the same privileges as all other adults. And then pia hii aspect ya shule kutofunza real history, like our real Kenyan history. So what we find in our textbooks need to the sanitized versions and like bits and bytes of what they want us to see. So we felt that it would be important to reach out to these young people and see if there's a way we can get to introduce even student chapters that focus on these aspects of social justice, governance, and enlighten people on constitutionalism, because that is also another like gray black spot yenye young people wana experience. Yes, constitution iko out there, but it's not, they do not engage with it at all. Alafu pia, if you're not in such a school setting, people find the document to be, they don't understand it. It's hard to read, it's hard to understand, it's hard to seek accountability from. So we thought this demographic might be one that would help us channel hii movement to where we want it to go, waweze ku effect social change from school and then out there.
So tumeenda technical uni, JKUAT.
So it began Multimedia University. So we went to Multimedia. So what we do was to set up a photo exhibition that has vignettes of several heroes from the past. Well, so these heroes were curated to be heroes who passed away. Because to try and decide who is a hero now sometimes gets super problematic. And this metric was actually devised by Ngugi wa Thiong'o. It's problematic because 1 second someone is the greatest hero, but then you don't know what they'll do tomorrow. So kesho things change, alafu uko tuwe tulishakweka hapo, they still a hero. So we had several from our past history books, kina Pio Gamapinto, Wangari Maathai, but then of course, all of them are now deceased, but then we still hail them as heroes who helped out this country. Alafu, after that, there was a segment of now the Kenyan history, bits, excerpts from the British Gulag, that showcased the nasty bits.
How brutal it all was.
How brutal the entire colonial period used to be. And then we had another segment now for social justice that shows active citizens driving change. This was also inspired by a lot of movements that Boniface Mwangi has organized na amesi through in the past, and that they actually effected change in Kenya and helped people realize that we also have a part to play.
I think my favorite one ni ile diapers. That was so funny. Alafu ukifika, you get to that section and everyone is like, why are big people wearing diapers?
Diaper mentality. That was the tag.
And I know people are listening and they're like, oh, these heroes, we know them, the usual people, Mekatilili. But I think the coolest thing about that exhibition is it brought to light so many heroes I really didn't know about them, especially people who weren't in politics.
Olympians.
Olympians, but also this guy, was he like the CEO of KCB, and he like erupted corruption that was going on. There was a police officer, there were students, there was women, and let me just be honest and say I was a bit ignorant about the role that the Indian community played in shaping our country. And in that exhibition, it wasn't just Pio Gamapinto, it was all these people of Asian origin who made such profound changes. So I think that was a well-curated exhibition. But, people have had issues with it because of some of the characters there. But, Willy Mutunga sort of addressed it when he said, human beings, even heroes, the people we hail as heroes, are human beings, and human beings are not monolith. They're allowed to have a double legacy. And I think I was also a victim of viewing from one lens and being like, this guy, no. This guy, he's the alpha and omega. But after that, I was able to understand, like people have double legacies.
Allowing them to be human.
Exactly, allowing them to be human. So that was really cool. I think that was my favorite thing, the diversity in the entire exhibition and just this in-depth approach to our heroes and their journeys and, the ways in which they shaped from the people up there to, normal people, a policeman, a student, an MP, So everybody, that was cool.
Myself, I like that you interacted with the exhibition first, and then later you applied for internship at Pawa. I think it's interesting. I think we should just tell our viewers, Gloria here is our intern in the and at Courage
Yes,
for
and Pawa.
at Pawa and at Courage for this project especially.
Yes.
So she had interacted with the entire exhibition, public lecture.
I remember that exhibition takes 3 days, and I remember the sun was so hot, and these things are white, so it's just shining on your face. But I remember spending so much time there and just reading literally word for word all the profiles. And I was like, this is what I want to do, because I'm always so passionate about people engaging meaningfully with politics, people knowing they have the power. And that's something, when history is whitewashed and when all these things are are sanitized, you begin to feel like, oh, maybe it's not in my place. So I remember seeing that exhibition and just being like, oh my goodness, I want to do this. And then coincidentally, it was around the time I was supposed to apply for internships. And I applied. I went to the offices, and you weren't around, but I was given like a sheet where I was supposed to input my capabilities. And I was really excited.
I have it, by the way.
I was called back and I was like, yeah, as in, it's so weird when your dreams come true because you don't even know how to act. But I'm really grateful that I'm actually now working in this space. It's something so inspirational for me.
Yeah, what's been your experience? What do you think of this? Well, we had to realign it, of course. I think we got to a point we didn't know how to go forward. We were planning to visit Moi University around March. So we were from Kemu, Meru.
In fact, we were supposed to travel, and then this first case was announced. And then the next, on Friday, Uhuru comes and says, no more everything, basically.
So we left guys at Moi hanging, literally.
And they sent out the posters.
They had posters, they had t-shirts. We'd done a race visit. So we were just about to travel. Like it was like 2 days I don't know. It was so close. And then all operations halted.
It was heartbreaking.
It was to me first, because the response we were getting from most university students was that, hey, we really need more of this. We need more of this.
Because you guys continue to interact with them, you continue to see that cheer and that goodwill when they're working with us, because they're like, oh, you guys for the heroism. That was really cool.
To an extent that when we did a student forum, just after the university lectures. So a lot of the students that we had gathered contacts from, they were like, they wanted a space where they could also speak, because for the public forums, not for the public forum, for the lectures that were happening in school, it's mostly us with a public speaker who's the former Chief Justice, anaongea anaambia watu whatever is in his speech at the time. But there's a Q&A session, but then
it's not even that extensive.
It's not extensive. It's for like about an hour. So it's not enough time for people to air out what they think and just to engage. So that was something that came up. So we decided, hey, we can do like a Heroism and Courage forum where you guys come in. So we organized one. I think it was in Feb. And then we'd allocated about 3 hours. The thing ended up taking the entire day.
Because people get so passionate.
And then we wanted to do a subsequent one after the Moi University exhibition, which is now when all operations had to halt. And so we thought about redesigning for COVID, but it couldn't have been as easy because the transition is also
it takes time
there was a lot to unpack and repack and think how we are going to make this possible, but then here we are. So thank you.
So what's the way forward? What should they expect from this very exciting podcast and YouTube channel?
So this is a podcast come video episode because we want to have one-on-one interaction with these young people. And good thing is this time it's not just locked to people in the universities, because if it's out online, anybody can access it. and we'll actually get to access more people than we would have if we were moving
From
physically.
uni to uni, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe this is a blessing in disguise in some way.
True.
For the podcast, we shall be having several student guests,
Yes.
which I'm very, very excited about.
Me too.
We have a number of political science students from Queer who will be coming in.
Yeah.
Queer is Catholic University. We
Of
have
Eastern Africa.
of Eastern Africa, Gloria. And then we have other students from JQuat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're looking to feature more, right?
Yeah, we are looking to feature more. We had discussions with the former student president of Technical University. He's so passionate about governance, and he's also looking forward to coming for subsequent episodes. And then we also have Willy Mutunga with us.
Yeah.
He'll come it'll be the public lecture, but then it will be very interactive.
Yeah.
You guys will be able to shoot him questions and just share with us what you think he can expound more on.
Yes.
So it will be more lively than it was at the university exhibition.
And
so
maybe
stay
there's
tuned.
some confusion on I thought this was a youth forum. Willy Mutunga is how old? So how come Willy Mutunga?
Willy Mutunga, well, Willy Mutunga has been an active citizen from way back when. You look at Akina Ford Foundation, like these hubs for activists and for social justice. He has spearheaded most of them. Like he was the founder of most of these organizations. He was at the founding round table.
Yeah.
I guess if I may say so. And then he has always been supportive of Power 254 and all these activism movements, protests,
And
and
the
he's
role
also
of youth.
and he's also passionate about the youth and young people reshaping this country and owning this country and making sure that we make our voices heard and that we forge a way forward together, like holding hands, old and young. But then again, it has to come from us. So seeing as how he's been supportive throughout the way, we just thought it would be best to go along and tag him along in all our subsequent episodes.
Nimeattend some of his talks, and I think he offers a very interesting perspective, seeing as he was in the justice system, and we know the justice system falls short or has fallen short in the past in very many ways. So I think it was so interesting when people pin him and actually ask him, look, what about the role of the judiciary? So and he offers really interesting insights, and I hope when he comes, he's going to talk about all those things. But apart from that, we have really interesting topics like youth and business, women and business,
Development, constitutionalism, governance, role of youth in social justice, how to take part, how to organize, how to own Kenya, man. Like, okay, I don't mean owning in the sense that kuwa bwenyenye chukwapo like 20,000 acres, but like existing like it is our country, to stop being passive. When we say active, we mean like acheni kukua passive, like it's not that hivyo ndo kunaendanga, hivyo ndo wamesema nini, because at what point do you decide sawa pia sisi ni adults, this is also our country, we have voices, we can try and be leaders, be better leaders, because that's the other thing I think itakuwa better expounded kwa hizi conversations. We shall be able to maybe look at ways in which you've been disenfranchised and see ways and try and devise ways that we could be better and see how we could turn these conversations into something that's real. Like,
true, because it's always talk. Everybody can talk, but the action at the end of the day. So we are hoping to drive a lot of action, meaningful action.
And hoping that the young people actually own this.
Yeah.
Because I think this is something that stands out with Power 254. I think if I must say, I used to be so taken aback by Power. it was my dream workplace from when I was still in campus.
Just like me.
Yeah. Man, nilikuwa natoka all the way from KU to go and attend some sessions called Off the Record. Now, Off the Record used to be held on Tuesday evenings from 6 to 8 p.m. Hey, and then my friends in school back then, singewaambia I'm into these things because
it was like, it's not cool.
It wasn't cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't cool because we'd come and actually just discuss things that are happening in Kenya and try and see, hey, so what can we do? What can we do? And so many movements that were happening at Pawa birthed from those debates.
Yeah.
So, haikukuwa ati tu linear, people would come changia, add this, wakatae hiyo. But eventually you'd come out of there feeling, hey, I'm from some very powerful session. Nika session. But so that was something meaningful that used to drive me to want to be a part of Pawa.
Even if you had to sneak out from your clique.
Man, alafu narudi ni late, sijui naishi wapi.
Kwani umetoka wapi? Jo, uenda wapi?
They wouldn't know. But so it's something notable about the criteria that we use to address these issues, because I remember you mentioned Mukuru, the project that we're doing with Mukuru. It's called Sauti Jasiri. Now, with Sauti Jasiri, it was devised differently because it tries to bridge the gap between duty holders and the right holders, like leaders na citizens.
Yeah.
But sasa haikukuwa tu inaishi hapo kwa rights because hiyo ndo bickering watu wanachokanga na human rights people because they feel we are always saying, hey, rights.
Yeah.
But then this time it came with tied to responsibilities. Sawa, you have your rights, what can you do? Sindio?
Yeah.
So we took them through trainings in public interest litigation so that they actually know mali mnafanyika public community land yenyu imekuwa grab, there's no playground, what can you do? You can actually litigate. That's one way out. Then there was a training on citizen journalism. But sawa, hizi news zenyu za mtaa zitaifike anyone because they are interested parties who will never want you to say we don't have water because they are the same ones selling, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. But hamna maji. So how can this news get out to ensure that eventually mpate maji? So citizen journalists were also trained. And then kuna the activism bit, artivism. So Sauti ya Mtaa album that helps this youth create what line at yao to the issues that community faces. Because for a very long time, pia tumona several artists who've been hailed as change makers in the past. Hata kabisa kina Bob Marley aliweza ku create a revolution in his time just because of being an artist. Bobby Wine. Na for the project, when youth realize that their rights are linked to responsibilities and that now they're not powerless, that they can actually do something for their situation. Man, you could see their eyes light up. Like, people are so encouraged kwa sababu kawaida ina feeling itu, so mnatuua, so kuna nini, like it's just complaints upon complaints. But for this one time yenye they felt we can actually do something and we've been empowered to do so. And we have these trainers because we linked them with several trainers who are also vast in their fields. Now and as our guide throughout the way. So you could see the encouragement because it's still ongoing. It's happening in Mukuru, Dandora, Kayole. So watu wako very empowered, watu wako na psych because they feel they just want to continue being victims. That our time is now.
And I think that's what's so cool because you find most NGOs will step in to do the work and they're not even, the involvement with the actual community is as, just give us feedback. But I think in this aspect, you're giving them the power. You're giving them the tools to drive the change for themselves.
Na nadhani hapo ndio mali people inaitwangaje like they shun NGOs for.
Yeah.
Like watu wana feel tu ni job ingine NGO.
It's the top down approach.
Yeah. Because you never feel involved in the process. Like yes, it's for you, but not really.
Not really.
Like ni kama kuwave tu, we are working with young people, but it's like one young person. Yeah. But Pawa is a youth-led organization. That is one thing that stood out for me and still does. It is a youth-led organization. Most of the staff at Pawa are actually community members who've been at Pawa before and are in capacity to actually work in the positions that they do. But then again, it's driven by youth. It's youth-driven. Now, watu wanashare any passion. It's so refreshing to sit with young people that you share dreams with.
True.
That your aspirations match na zinaelekea towards the same goals.
Yeah.
It's so refreshing, and I believe, my hope is that like tukiweza kuendelea na podcast, like more young people will also feel empowered to begin the same, because sahi hakuna barriers to entry.
True.
We are doing
It's
something
free
that
and
used to be
open.
only for news people.
Yeah, you had to submit like a short karan of what you want to do, and they see if you're qualified enough. But
To beg radio stations to give you a slot.
Give you an hour.
And then there are things you can't say, there are people you can't mention. So our time also comes with benefits kadha.
Yes.
Benefits mob, and yeah, we hope to make the best of it.
I'm excited.
I'm also so excited. I can't wait to have this and to push it forward and to ensure that tuna link hizo change, tuna ensure that we drive the real change.
Okay.
So
join us on this journey now. You guys can participate how? By sending questions and comments on our pages. What are our pages? I think it's Tatokea, right?
Team Courage KE.
Yeah.
Make sure you send your questions, compliments, comments, clarifications.
Yes.
Just engage with us on our social media platforms. You can send your comments, clarifications, questions, Nini, to Power 254, to Team Courage KE, to
I think that's it.
Yeah, just visit
On
our
all
social media
platforms,
pages.
Twitter,
On all,
Facebook.
Yeah. We shall be
YouTube.
happy to hear from you and to engage with you, because we hope this is a roadmap to success, to a better Kenya. So
That's on people.
that's on that.
Bye.